Hong Kong's stock market is currently closed to mark the establishment of the Special Administrative Region. For more on the region's financial prospects, I'm joined now by Anthony Chan in New York. He's a former chief economist at JP Chase. Anthony, good to see you. So will the Hong Kong security law have any impact at all for foreign investment in China? We've known about this for several weeks now.
I think that this information is, as you said correctly, been well known. I think you're hearing some noise from some governments, but I think everyone should take a deep breath and try to figure out what are the ramifications, how is this process going to be carried out, and if it's a process that is met with less resistance and, of course, ends up causing stability in Hong Kong, then it's probably going to be somewhat of an exaggeration to react the way that some countries are reacting. Even the United Kingdom is talking about waiting to see how this law gets passed and how it impacts the people in Hong Kong. And that's the most important thing here, is how it impacts Hong Kong. And everything that I hear so far from China suggests that it's in their best interest to make sure that the economic stability of Hong Kong persists.
As you pointed out, Anthony, we're hearing from a lot of politicians in the West, but let's take a step down and describe the conversations among international companies and offices with headquarters in Hong Kong. What are their considerations, and what do you think they're saying right now?
I think that right now, most of the financial institutions that I hear are saying that it's just too early to get a real reaction, a negative reaction for that matter. That at this point, yes, the legislation is changing, and yes, it's a little bit different from what many of these institutions expected a year ago or even 6 months ago. But it really is too early to jump the gun. There are many financial institutions that are saying that there is good business environment in Hong Kong, and there's no reason to flee Hong Kong at this juncture, and they're going to stay until somehow that the conditions change and prove to them that the Hong Kong business environment is not suitable. But I have not seen anything yet that convinces me that the business conditions are not going to be suitable. Everybody knows that the Hong Kong economy contracted last year. The Hong Kong economy will contract this year, but the expectation, and certainly my expectation, is that the Hong Kong economy will move back into positive territory next year. I expect that real GDP in Hong Kong will grow next year, somewhere around 4% next year.
And that being said, Anthony, if you can just sort of give us more context about the importance of Hong Kong as an economic hub in Asia.
Oh, I have no doubt that Hong Kong plays an important role in the financial aspect, the banking sector, the financial markets. A lot of companies certainly, and a lot of investment firms do invest in the Hong Kong equity market. It's a gateway to the rest of the world. That's one of the reasons why I am very confident that mainland China will do nothing to harm that positive relationship that Hong Kong has with the rest of the world. It's in everyone's interest to maintain that status quo.
And you gave your outlook for the rest of the year into next. How has COVID-19 impacted, and really how does this play into what's going on there today with this law passing? They're trying to get over COVID-19. They've been shut down. What are your considerations there?
Well, I think that COVID-19, perhaps some of the instability that has taken place in Hong Kong, the two things are probably going to generate a contraction in economic growth in 2020 of something close to about 5% this year. We know that COVID-19, as bad as it's been in Asia, on a relative basis, COVID-19 has not impacted Hong Kong the way it has impacted other countries, certainly the United States. The numbers in Hong Kong are certainly much better than they are in the United States. But nonetheless, they've been impacted by what's happening around the rest of the world. So we will see a contraction in Hong Kong this year. Just like in China, we will probably see economic growth in the 1.5% to 2% range instead of the 6.1%. So I don't think any country around the world can completely escape the negative impacts of COVID-19. Hong Kong is one of those countries that are going to be impacted, as well as China. But even when you look at those numbers, keep in mind that in the United States, we are probably going to see 5 to 5.5% contraction in real GDP in 2020 also. It's not just Hong Kong and it's not just Asia, it's happening all over the world.
All right, Anthony Chan in New York City, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.